Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, good evening, Facebook family. Welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose with me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Brian+Post. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Hope you're having a good evening. I'm out in California, up in Crescent City, actually, which is just a beautiful little community, helping start a wraparound program up here for adoptive families. And so I've just been ripping and running all day long, and the time change just throws me off. So I look up, like the sun's bright and shiny, and then I realize it's almost 5 o'clock, which means it's actually 7 Central Standard Time, and I'm usually on at 6:30, right, Central Standard Time. So my apologies for being late. I'm just trying to get everything adjusted and handle business and do what I do. So I wanted to pop in here real quick before I go visit another family. I had a question that came in the other day. A little kid, he's 9 years old. He got mad, he punched a TV screen or punched his computer screen, he broke it, and his mom said, you know, he was immediately, because he was mad, he immediately wanted to go fix it. Look at that little gray hair sticking up there. Ding, 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 ding. So he immediately wanted to pay to go buy another one, and so she sent me an email, and she asked from one of my Lovolution members, and she asked, you know, what I thought about how long should it take, you know, before she goes and buys it, or should she go and buy another one, was the first question. And I said, no, you should actually help him find a job so that he can make the money to buy it himself, because these are my exact words: your responsibility as a parent is not to buy things that your children tear up. Your responsibility as a parent is to love them through the destruction. And so if he wants to replace it, then he needs to be willing to pay for it. And so then she replied back that, in fact, he already has the money and wants to go buy a new one. And so my thought then is, okay, yeah, help him go get the money, give him the cash, let him pay for it, so he experiences the money coming out of his pocket, out of his hand, to pay for the new screen. And then I said, and for good measure, have him take you out to lunch for your hassle. And so she was like, okay, that's cool. And then she replied back, hey Tracy, she replied back and said, well, Dad wants to wait a while to let it sink in about him breaking the TV rather than just going to get him another one. So she asked me what I thought about that. So that's when I asked how old he was, and she said he was 9. And I suggested that 2 days is plenty of time for a child to learn a lesson. And it's not even about the 2 days. I mean, that's just kind of what came to the top of my mind, is the 2 days. The reality is, as soon as he hit the screen and he broke it, that's when the lesson set in. And so what you have to understand about poor impulse control, and the reason children have poor impulse control, is because they have hyperdeveloped amygdalas. Their fight, flight, or freeze reaction kicks in immediately, overwhelms their hippocampus, overwhelms their oxytocin response. They go into survival. Their thinking's confused and distorted. Their short-term memory suppressed. And they're not thinking about what happened the last time. They're just acting, and that's poor impulse control. And so the lesson happens as soon as the screen is busted. Like within seconds after he busts the screen, in his mind he's going, oh geez, why'd I do that? You're so stupid, you're so dumb, why'd you do that? All this self-talk that kids do. And the dad who wants to delay the buying of the screen, even if he's going to use his own money, wants the child to feel the pain of the loss. Well, the reason I'm thinking about that for a moment is Because number one, with adopted children, there's no amount of loss that's equivalent to the loss that they've already had, their first loss. So that's important to remember. So no loss of a TV screen or loss of a dog or loss of anything else is going to be equivalent to the first loss of just the biological care figure, the biological mother. So it's really important for us to remember that when we're working with adopted children and foster children, these children have experienced more in their short lives than we're ever going to be able to show them, or when we start thinking about behavior modification, punishment, and that kind of stuff, you can't take away enough stuff from this kid to ever replace all the loss they've had. You can't punish them enough to overcome the amount of abuse they've already experienced. So it's always, you have to really temper that desire that you have for yourself to want to teach your child a lesson against the realities of their life. Hello there, mother, and hello there, Lala. And so the thing is, the lesson, see what we're always hoping for, we will teach them a lesson that it'll never happen again. And the truth of the matter is, you just don't know, because it's rooted in that behavioral reaction is rooted in all of their stress and their trauma and their pain. And until that resolves itself at a deeper level, you don't know. I mean, there's no certainty that a child's going to be able to use their higher level, their prefrontal cortex, to override their amygdala in that immediate moment. I mean, some of us, even as adults, don't do very well with that kind of scenario. And so what I really want to be clear about for you as a parent is that we learn all the time. So he had a very good lesson. He learned that when he hits the screen too hard, he's going to bust it, and he's not going to get to play his game. He's not going to get to play it in that moment. That's a lesson right there. And then when you set him up to have to be able to pay for it with his own money, that's another lesson right there. Now, if you want to extend the time before you go buy him a new screen or whatever, the thing is, that may be more reinforcement of the lesson, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen again. And I think we set ourselves up when we have this expectation that, well, I'm going to delay buying the screen for you for another 2 weeks so you can really, feel the consequences of your action. But the reality is, in about 3 days, when all the stress is cleared through his body, he's going to find something else to do, and he's not going to give that screen a second thought. He's going to be on to the next thing. And so he's not going to sit and ponder and wait and think about missing the screen and longing for the missing of this screen until he gets another one. There's just too many other things going on that's going to take up his focus. And so, do what feels good. I don't believe that there's any right or wrong. I just want to give you a couple of things to think about when you start thinking about how soon do you replace something. I do believe that children should be able to pay for things themselves, and they should be able to work for them to make the money to pay for things that they destroy. And then, in every possible instance, repair things with them. Do work with them and help them learn, because at the end of the day, if you're really taking responsibility as a parent, what you would say is, I set you up because I let you be on that game too long. I let you be on that game too long, which means your brain got too overwhelmed, and then you couldn't modulate your stress reaction, and then you punched the screen. It's really my fault. It's my fault as much as it is yours. It's our responsibility to be able to monitor your screen time in a way that keeps you within your window of tolerance. Now, that's really taking responsibility, and that's really what love-based parenting is all about. So I hope that's helpful for you guys. I've got another family I got to go run over and talk to. And so I hope you have a fantastic evening. Big Papa loves you. God bless you. And we'll be talking to you very soon. If you had any inclination whatsoever to attend Post Parenting Camp 2019, August 16th and 17th, Friday, tomorrow, is the last day of registration. I'm going to cut it off because I've got a full house already, but we want to give everyone a little time frame. So that's it, guys. Have a good evening. We'll talk to you soon. Good night.